Hey everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series, Nails in a Coffin, where we learn that with great kills, there must also come great nails. This is my final Nails in a Coffin episode for 2022, and I've covered a lot of great movies this entire year. I've covered the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, Friday the 13th franchise, the Halloween franchise, Dog Soldiers, a lot of fun movies, some recent holiday classics, so be sure to check them out. If you haven't done so already, I really appreciate it. Well, it's almost a new year, so I wanted to cover a New Year's horror movie, and I chose 1980's New Year's Evil. Probably one of the lesser known horror films to come out in the 80s. So what this is about, during a New Year's Eve celebration, a Los Angeles disc jockey Blaze, her name Diane, receive a phone call, someone saying that they're going to murder someone every time the clock strikes midnight across all the time zones. Now, the killer focuses on lonely women, and he's basically a misogynist piece of crap. Now, there aren't too many horror movies that are focused on New Year's Eve. So you have this one, Terror Train, and I think Bloody New Year, but I haven't seen that one. And off the top of my head, that's all I could think of. But if you know some other horror movies based around New Year's Eve, let me know in the comments down below. But that seems like a quick summary of what this movie's about. I should cover everything, so let's start the countdown to midnight and put some nails in a coffin with New Year's Evil. The first kill happens just at 3 minutes into the movie. Yvonne, who is Blaze's friend, just got off the phone with her, and she's doing her makeup in the bathroom in her hotel room. She hears the tub dripping, so she tightens the faucet handle. Then she hears someone jiggle the doorknob to her hotel room. She goes to check, and her door is open, and she looks out into the hallway, and she sees somebody walking down at the end of the hall. She closes the door, puts the chain on, and then she goes back to doing her makeup in the bathroom. She hears the tub dripping again. Well, she tightens the handle once again, closes the shower curtain. However, this time she's grabbed from behind to someone who was hiding in the tub, and they kill her with a switchblade. Yvonne was the first person to get killed in New Year's Evil, and I'm going to award her 1.5 nails in a coffin. The door to her room was open, and she just kind of ignored it without checking anything other than the hallway. If you're alone in a hotel room, the first thing you should do is lock the door and put the chain on. So this absent-mindedness gave the killer an opportunity to, get inside the room. Now, we don't know 100% if the killer was already in the room or where he was hiding and how he got in the shower. But I don't think Yvonne had any spatial awareness. And I don't think she deserves 1 nail, though. She didn't do enough for 2 nails. So, since I get to make the rules up, it's my channel, I'm going to give her 1.5 nails in the coffin. Now, this is the second time I've given a half a nail rating, and I think now that's going to be a thing. And let me know what you think about the half nails in the comments below. I think it's going to give me a little bit of a freer reign with the nail ratings. The killer, who goes by the name Evil, that's original, he sneaks into a sanitarium and disguises himself as a doctor. He flirts with Nurse Jane, who is really quickly into his advances. They go back to room to celebrate the new year with some champagne. They start making out, and it's getting pretty heated up in there. Evil hits the record button on the tape deck to record his kill, since he likes to call Blaze his radio show, and he plays the kills on the air to show off. While they're making out, the clock is about to strike midnight, and he slowly takes a switchblade from his pocket, flicks it open, and stabs the nurse to death, while the rest of the sanitarium is celebrating the new year. I'm going to give Nurse Jane 2 nails in a coffin. All she did was hook up with the fill-in doctor that she only met a few minutes ago to celebrate the new year. It wasn't the smartest thing in the world to do, but that's not a decision that someone would have thought would lead to her getting killed. Maybe an STD, but not getting killed. And they were in the middle of a heavy makeout session when Evil stabbed her, and she wasn't given much of a chance to survive, since she didn't expect anything would happen. And I didn't see anything she did that I would consider a grave mistake. So I feel like 2 nails in a coffin was fair for Nurse Jane. For our next kill, Evil puts on a fake mustache and he goes to a disco to look for his next victim. He picks up Sally and asks her if she wants to go for a ride in his Mercedes. Well, what Evil didn't plan on was Sally inviting her friend Lisa to come along for the ride because she didn't want to be alone. They stop by a liquor store, and Evil gives Lisa some cash and tells her to buy the biggest bottle of champagne they have. And before they stop by the liquor store, you can kind of see that Evil is getting frustrated that he didn't have Sally alone to himself so he can, have his evil plan. Well, when Lisa goes inside, Evil shows Sally a plastic bag that he tells her has some wacky tobacco in it. Well, when she goes to smell it, he drapes the bag over her head and suffocates her with it. I'm going to give Sally 1.5 nails in a coffin. She just met a man and went along with him, but she did bring her friend Lisa along for safety. And, they did make Sally pretty much an airhead. That was her character trait. And when Eva put the bag in her head, she did struggle a bit, but her hands went to his hands and not trying to rip a hole in the bag. I really didn't see her struggling enough. And from what I see, she could at least try to fight him off a bit more because I didn't see much of an effort for her. That's why I can't give her 2 nails in a coffin. But what saved her from getting 1 nail in the coffin was choosing to bring her friend along with her for safety, even though it really didn't save her at all. And I like the half a nail ratings. I think it was a good way to go with giving Sally 1.5 nails in the coffin. When Lisa came out of the liquor store, she saw that the Mercedes was gone, and she found Sally's shoe on the ground. And she followed it to her other shoe, which led to a dumpster with a piece of Sally's dress hanging out of it. You can see Lisa, she's really distressed, she's upset. Well, she opens the lid to the dumpster, it's pitch black in there. Well, Evil flicks on a lighter, grabs Lisa, pulls her in, and kills her off screen. Lisa was killed off screen, but I definitely saw enough to give her a nail rating, and I'm only going to give her 1 nail in the coffin. She had no reflexes, plus she saw her friend's shoe lying on the ground leading towards a dumpster that was behind a building at midnight. Doesn't seem like the safest thing to do. When she opened the lid to the dumpster, she couldn't see anything till Evil flicked on his lighter. And then she didn't move at all when he grabbed her. It's just like she almost allowed him to pull her in there. You would think some natural reflex would have made her pull back right away, as someone I think would do when they're startled. Well, we didn't see Evil necessarily kill her on screen or what happened in the dumpster. We just know that she was killed, but I saw enough to give her a nail rating, and Lisa's going to get 1 nail in the coffin. After Evil killed Sally and Lisa, he changed his clothes again, this time looking like a priest. When he's in his car, he's driving down the street, and some bikers start harassing him for reasons, and he accidentally runs into one of their bikes, and the gang chases him to a drive-in. Evil gets out of his car at the drive-in trying to lose the gang, and when he's walking by some cars, he's confronted by one of the bikers. Evil is dressed as a priest and tells the biker, "Hey, I'm a man of God." The biker really doesn't care, and they have a quick altercation. Evil stabs the biker in the stomach, but later on in the movie, we only hear that there was a stabbing and not a kill. So I'm not going to give the biker a nail rating. He was surrounded by people in cars, and his gang was close by. And it was a stab in the gut that I think he pretty much could have survived. So most likely, I would have given him 1 nail in the coffin since he had no reflexes when Evil stabbed him. You're supposed to be this big, badass biker, and you easily, some nerdy guy in a priest outfit, stab you. It was pretty easy for him to get stabbed. But, however, there was no confirmation of him getting killed, so he's going to escape getting nailed. There aren't too many kills in New Year's Evil since we're at our final on-screen death. Evil made his way to the New Year's party where Diane is at. The twist of the movie is Evil is Richard, Diane's husband, and one of the cops guarding Blaze, Diane, thinks it's fishy since no one should have been in Blaze's dressing room. So Diane and the cop are now taking an elevator down, and somehow Evil was able to hijack the elevator and send it crashing down. They get knocked out. The doors open up. Evil kicks the cop again, making sure he's completely knocked out. And when he's talking to his wife, he tells her that he is evil and has been killing women all night. And he gives his reasons, which is basically because he's a misogynistic asshole. Evil then ties a chain around his wife's arm over her head and connects the other end to the elevator. And I guess his plan was to send her all the way to the top and then send the elevator crashing down, killing her. Well, he connects her, hooks her all up, lets her go, connected to the elevator, setting it up. But now the cops kind of figured out what was going on, and they're having a firefight with Evil, and there's a gunfight between them. The cops can't shoot Evil, they miss him, but they hit the elevator controls, stopping Blaze's demise. Evil then ran up to the roof and put his mask on, and he was confronted by some police officers. He was by the edge of the roof, cornered by the cops, and he drops a knife, puts his hands over the head, and then he jumps off the roof, unaliving himself. Evil was a crap person, glad he's dead, and I'm giving him 1 nail in the coffin. I normally don't cover when people unalive themselves, but this was because he didn't want to go to jail and didn't want to get caught. And all his stupid decisions and dumb motives led him to his fate. So Evil, I really did not care for him at all. He's a scumbag, hate him. He barely deserves one nail in a coffin. The movie ends with paramedics loading Diane into the back of an ambulance. And then, as they load her in, they're ready to go. We see that the driver has Evil's mask on, and it's Diane's son, Derek, who's just as crazy and wacky as his old man was. They pan over, we see the other paramedic's body on the floorboard on the passenger side. We know he's dead, and then the movie ends. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my Nails in the Coffin for 1980's New Year's Evil. Here's a summary of all the nails I've awarded. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode, and this movie wasn't that bad for 1980. I pretty much enjoyed it. It's definitely worth the watch. It came out at the start of the slasher craze, releasing only 6 months after the original Friday the 13th. And if you have seen this movie, or if you haven't, let me know what you think in comments down below. I'd love to read your comments. Well, that wraps up the year, ladies and gentlemen. I really want to thank everybody who's watched any of my videos throughout the year, liked, commented, and subscribed. I've been doing this channel for about 16 months now, and yeah, I've released at least one video a week since I started. And I'm still having fun. That's what I think is the most important. I have to thank everybody who's still watching this video. It means a lot to me that you're showing me, support, and I appreciate every single person. I hope everybody had a great 2022, and I hope you have a phenomenal 2023. I have a very, very special movie for the first Nails in a Coffin plan for 2023. That video may be a little bit longer than most, since I can talk about that movie for hours and hours. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope 2023 is much better than 2022, and I will see you all next year. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.